Welcome to Still a Part of Us. This is the advice episode, and today we're talking with Stephen, who told the story of his beautiful daughter, Ophelia. It was 39 weeks, and she was stillborn. Stephen's a wonderful guy. I've really, really enjoyed talking with you, even though you are a Chelsea fan. I'm just gonna keep digging that. I'm just gonna keep digging at you with that. He rides motorcycles. He loves tea. He loves the outdoors. Just an overall wonderful human being. Stephen, thank you so much for coming and talking with us.
Yeah, it's always a good time when I get to talk about my daughter.
It is as parents, it's always a pleasure to talk about our children. Now, in this advice episode, what is some wonderful sage advice that you would like to spread to this world of ours?
Oh, the first thing I would say is don't ever hesitate about talking about your child. It's so important. Just the other day, I was in a business meeting and somebody asked, "Oh, how many kids do you have?" And I said, "Oh, I have two, but only one is with us." And he said, "Oh, so sorry to bring that up." And I said to him, "Oh, there's no reason to be sorry.
Yeah.
I love talking about my daughter or my daughters." And then oddly enough, we started talking, and he pulled me aside after the meeting, and he shared with me that he actually lost a child.
Oh.
She was stillborn as well. So you never know who you're going to meet when you talk about your children.
Yeah, it does seem like there are certain types of people who they don't want to talk about their children, either living or children who have passed away. And I'm so glad that you do like to talk about Ophelia. I'm so glad you do like to talk about your family, because they are such an influence on us as fathers and as men. Our families are just great influences on us. So
yeah, it's super important. My wife and I, we were talking about this, I want to say like a week ago, but it was actually probably like 3 months ago.
Time. What's time?
Yeah, it's just a construct. It's one thing that we're married and we love each other and we are one, and but like that's in like a mental sense and like in a religious sense and a spiritual sense. But then you think about your children, and they're actually like
they
both
are from you. Yeah,
they came out of like the two of you, and it's just this wonderful thing. So it's just so important that we talk about our children, whether they're here or they're not.
Yeah. And it's good that you were able to, hearkening back to this conversation you had with the gentleman, you were able to connect with him over his child and your Ophelia.
Totally. And then it's just like, oh, so you do understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. It is amazing how we understood.
The other people, they didn't understand, and that's why I didn't continue the conversation.
Yeah.
Another important aspect of getting through this for me has been the support group that we joined as a couple.
Mm-hmm. Now, is it a local support group, or I guess nowadays a lot of stuff is online, so it doesn't really matter where you're at, but
so it is local. Everyone is in New York City. Or in the greater New York City area. Some of them are in New Jersey now. But at the beginning, they explain what they do, and the leader of the group, she does this. She starts a new group session every like 2 months, maybe 3 months.
Mm.
So yeah, so some members in our group, they lost their child a month after us, and then another couple within the group, they were actually in the hospital at the same time.
Oh.
And in like, so there were 5 couples that we started this discussion with, and it was so important to, at least for myself, to be able to speak to other people who knew the feeling that I was feeling.
Yeah.
And to also be able to bond with these people. And we now are like, we're still friends with all these people.
Yeah.
It's like my wife is going on Sunday, and they're going to Central Park, and all the wives are hanging out, and all the men, we're secretly getting together and watching soccer. So it's like they become your friends as well. It's not just these people that you have a therapy session with, and then you don't talk to them. It's about this bond that you have over this horrible experience, but it's still an experience, and we've made it into something where, like I text 2 of them, and I'm like, hey, I'm having a bad day, and they do the same to me. And I was like, hey, I'll call you after work, or hey, you want to go take a walk or something, and we it's a support group, and it's really that, like, we support each other.
That is so impressive. Just the fact that you're able to lean on them and they're able to lean on you. And yes, the journey of grief is completely different for everybody. Some people progress, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Some people are 2 steps back, 1 step forward. But that you're all able to be together, support each other, not just to lean on your spouse or your significant other, but you could also lean upon this group and this small intimate group. 5 couples. It's when my wife and I have met in our grief support, runs the gambit of people who have lost children, decades ago to recent, and it's also good to see that. But having that proximity to yourself, I bet is quite comforting and supportive for you guys.
We actually, I don't want to say shopped around, but like we went to a lot of different support groups, mm-hmm. and one of them was for like child loss, mm-hmm. and there were people in there who lost a child, when they were 36 to a car accident, and then and it didn't run the gamut, just very similar to what you said, and we didn't feel like that was what we wanted to be a part of, so we kept looking, and then we found this group. So maybe a bit of advice is, it doesn't always have to be the
first
one that someone suggests. If find one where you feel a connection, and also, trust me, you're not going to feel the connection the first time, but I'll tell you that when you're all sitting in the room and you're all crying, you will become connected very quickly.
Yeah, I've been able to, not in a support group, but friends who have gone through this, I've been able to sort of support them. And as you're both crying, as you're both weeping, and as you're both grieving, you are able to build a deeper connection. And like you said, they're no longer just your support group. They are your friends now. So
yes. Another piece of advice that I feel like I could share is people always say, "Oh, you'll like just keep going. You'll get through this. It'll get easier." I will be brutally honest, and I've come to the realization that it doesn't get any easier. I think that we just learn to live with the loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably cry 5 times a week. It still stings as much as it did that day, and I hope it still stings that way 25 years from now.
Yeah. That's the truth. I like how you said it does not get easier. We've just learned how to live with that pain. It doesn't get easier. It is the loss of our child, and it will for always be that. The way we are able to live with it changes. Now, I do have a quick question. You said that your daughter, the urn that you were given by your boss is this 6th century Chinese tea pot, a teapot.
Yes.
How prominently is that displayed in your home, or is that sort of more like where do you have her? Where do you have that teapot?
So in upstate, that's where it is. Mm-hmm. It's in our kitchen, above our on the shelf above our cabinets. Pretty predominant.
Yeah. And for at least for my family, the kitchen is where we always are. So
our house is a pretty open concept. So our downstairs is really only 2 rooms. So it's there's our kitchen where we spend most of our time, and then there's a room with like a couch and the TV and everything. So it's always it's visible from every point from downstairs.
Well, that's beautiful, and she's always there with you guys. So
yes, she is.
Well, Stephen, thank you so much. It has been a great pleasure, truly, to sit and chat and get to know you, get to know your daughter Ophelia, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for having myself and my wife, and also thank you for doing this.
You're welcome, Stephen. You have a beautiful day, and we'll talk to you. Hopefully, I've enjoyed it.